Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Usher, Cassie Ventura, and Cuba Gooding Jr. are some of the famous victims who suffered at the hands of rapper P. Diddy. After a lot of pressure from the media and fans, these celebrities spoke about the case, and in this video you will hear each of these celebrities' accounts of what P. Diddy forced them to do. If you are a sensitive person, I ask you not to watch this video, as the reports are shocking. One of these artists commented that, to be famous and successful, P. Diddy stole not only my body, but my soul. But before you hear the stories from these celebrities, subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this, where we investigate stories to bring you the truth about controversial subjects. The first report is from the singer Usher. See what he said.
When I met Diddy, I was just a kid trying to find my place in the industry. I was full of dreams and hopes, and he was the embodiment of everything I wanted to be, an icon. The first time we met was at an event in New York. He was charismatic, full of energy, and seemed genuinely interested in me. And I was indeed interested, but it was in something else. He gave me advice on how to navigate this world, and at the end of the conversation, he said something like, "You've got potential, kid. I'm going to show you what it means to be great." That messed with me. I thought I had found a mentor, someone who believed in me. Looking back, I see how naive I was. He invited me to spend time with him at his home and said it would be an opportunity to learn what no one else would teach me. When I moved closer to him, things started to change. At first, it seemed incredible. Parties, recording studios, surrounded by famous people. But little by little, I realized that the environment was heavy and the expectations were very different from what I imagined. Diddy was controlling, insisting that I participate in strange parties and uncomfortable situations. He would tell me things like, "If you want to be a star, you need to learn how to deal with this." The problem is that these situations weren't just parties. These were moments when I felt manipulated, used, as if my dignity had a price. I was young, and he knew it. He used my ambition as a bargaining chip. On several nights at these white parties, he would take me to the dark room and force me to do everything you could imagine. When I left the room with him, people were so beside themselves that they didn't even understand what was happening. I cried secretly, but I was very scared, and several times I felt humiliated, but I was afraid to take a stand. I thought that if I said no, my career would end there. Today, looking back, it is difficult not to feel a mixture of shame and anger. Shame for not having seen the signs, for not saying enough sooner. Anger because Diddy knew exactly what he was doing. He took advantage of my youth, my desire to be someone. I see the impact this has had on my life and my way of trusting people. At the same time, I know it's made me stronger, more aware of how dark the industry can be. If you ask me what I think of him today, I would say he is a man who represents the best and worst of this industry, the shine of fame and the shadows of what is required to achieve it. The most important thing for me right now is to make sure my voice is used to raise awareness among younger people. Fame should never cost your dignity.
Throughout all these reports, we can see that P. Diddy used the same pattern with all the victims. Usher's testimony reveals a dark and disturbing side of the entertainment industry, exposing how the search for fame can be exploited by powerful figures. His words resonate as a warning, showing the emotional and psychological toll he faced during his time with Diddy. He describes how he was initially attracted by the promise of guidance and opportunities, only to be placed in uncomfortable and manipulative situations. The contrast between the initial admiration for Diddy and the traumatic experiences that followed paints a portrait of youthful vulnerability being exploited. Reflecting on his experiences, Usher demonstrates courage by admitting his conflicting emotions, shame, anger, and learning. Not only does he confront the impact these events have had on his life, but he also expresses a desire to protect others from going through the same thing. The story is powerful because it humanizes an often glamorized industry, showing that the shine of fame can hide deep shadows. It is a testament to resilience and a reminder that dignity and integrity are priceless. The next report is from P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
When I started my relationship with Diddy, I was only 19 years old. At first, he seemed like an ideal mentor and partner, someone who would help me grow in the music industry. However, I quickly realized that he exercised extreme control over my personal and professional life. He made decisions for me, dictated who I could and couldn't interact with, and constantly monitored my movements. I felt trapped. unable to make my own decisions or follow my own desires. And if I went against what he said, he would beat me and discipline me, as he himself said. Over the years, I have been subjected to various physical and psychological abuse. I remember an incident in 2016, captured on security cameras, where Diddy physically assaulted me in a hotel. He pushed me, threw me on the floor, and kicked me. These episodes of violence were frequent, leaving me in a constant state of fear and anxiety. I felt isolated, not knowing who to turn to or how to escape the situation. After more than a decade of abuse, I decided it was time to break the silence. In November 2023, I filed a lawsuit against Diddy. It was a difficult decision, but necessary for my own sanity and to prevent others from going through the same thing. Although the lawsuit was resolved quickly, I feel relieved to have finally told my story and hope this encourages other victims to do the same.
By finally breaking the silence, Cassie demonstrated enormous courage. His decision to seek justice in court symbolizes not only a personal fight for redress, but also an effort to bring visibility to abusive practices often hidden behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Her testimony is a powerful reminder of the need to give victims a voice and challenge the power structures that perpetuate abuse. Although the case was resolved legally, Cassie has emerged as an important figure in the fight against abuse, inspiring other victims to confront their abusers and seek justice. The next report is from the singer Rihanna, which is without a doubt the most frightening and terrifying. See what she said.
I met Diddy at the beginning of my career, when I was still trying to establish myself as an artist. He appeared backstage at a show in New York, bringing an energy I had never seen before. He said to me something like, "Rihanna, you have a unique presence. I can take you to the top." At that moment, it seemed like a dream opportunity. He was an icon in the industry, someone who could open doors I didn't even know existed. He invited me to a private party at his mansion, saying it would be a chance to connect with big names in music. Little did I know that this would be the beginning of an experience I will never forget. Unlike all the other victims I heard about, I never suffered any type of abuse at parties at his house. With me, it was in a totally different place. One day I went to do a show and he told me he would give me a ride on his private plane. I agreed, as he told me he wanted to show me some ideas on how he could help me in my career. When the plane took off, my whole nightmare began. He used me the way he wanted inside his plane. And when it was all over, he told me that if I told anyone, no one would believe me because I had gone to his plane of my own free will. I felt scared, but I was also paralyzed by the way he manipulated the situation. He used my ambition against me, insinuating that if I didn't play his game, my career might end before it even began. For years, I kept these experiences to myself. I didn't want to believe that someone like Diddy could be so manipulative, so abusive. I tried to justify what happened, telling myself that maybe it was just the price to pay for being in this industry. But as time passed and other stories began to emerge, I realized it wasn't just me. He used his power to control and intimidate young women who just wanted a chance to shine. Today, I feel like I need to speak out, not just for myself, but for everyone who may have gone through something similar. Diddy may have the fame and the money, but no one should be forced to sacrifice their dignity or integrity for it. My voice is the one thing he can never take from me, and now I want to use it to help other people find the strength to speak up too.
His story reinforces a message of courage and resilience, serving as a warning about the need for changes in the power structures of the entertainment industry, especially for you who are the father or mother of a teenager who dreams of fame and success. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s report begins as follows.
When I met Diddy, we were at one of those glamorous Hollywood parties. It was the early 2000s, and I already had some recognition for my career. He came to me like a comrade, full of energy and charisma. He said he admired my work and that we should do something together, mix cinema and music. In that moment, it felt like a genuine connection. He was a man who knew how to use words to attract people. In the following days, he insisted that I go to one of his famous private parties, where, according to him, the real ideas emerged. I didn't know that these parties had another, much darker side. Diddy always talked about something he called his private circle. It was like an exclusive club for elite artists and influencers. He said that to get to the next level of success, you had to prove your loyalty. One night, he took me to a meeting of this circle. The atmosphere was heavy, low lights, loud music, and a constant feeling of vigilance. He started asking uncomfortable questions, testing my confidence. He then suggested that participating in certain rituals was a way to guarantee my entry into the club. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but he was clear. You don't get to the top without giving up something. That phrase stuck in my mind. After that night, I realized something was wrong. The parties, the invitations, the conversations, everything seemed like an attempt to manipulate me, to pull me into something that went beyond what I was willing to accept. When I refused to go on any more dates, Diddy completely changed. He made it clear that my decision would have consequences. I began to notice that doors were closing, opportunities were disappearing, and strange rumors about me began to circulate. Today, I look back and know that I made the right choice. Fame isn't worth the price of your integrity, and Diddy represents a side of the industry that many people choose to ignore. My experience is a reminder that it is possible to resist, even when it feels like the whole world is against you.
However, the most moving report comes from the Canadian star, Justin Bieber. Your story deserves your attention. See what he said recently.
Me and Diddy were good friends. At least I thought so. For a long time, he treated me very well. I went to his parties. But for some reason, on several occasions, he told me to leave early. He said it was already late for someone my age to be there. Because he treated me very well. My family trusted him. He actually helped me. But it seems like overnight everything changed. Suddenly he started to be colder towards me and treated me with contempt. He started showing off his goods and jewelry around me and said that if I wanted something similar, I would have to pay the price. I never quite understood what he meant by paying the price because he is one of the biggest references in the music industry. I listened to him a lot and did everything he told me to do. But there were a few moments when I saw that I was going into a hole, and the cause of that was Diddy. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm scared and it brings back bad memories, but I can only say that the dark room made me doubt that I would be happy again. What happened there, I don't want to happen to anyone else, not even my enemies. I just hope justice is served.
The reports we bring today lead us to reflect on the real price of fame. These stories have one thing in common: the exploitation of power, the manipulation of dreams, and the violation of personal boundaries in the name of success. Cassie spoke about years of control and emotional and physical abuse, showing how difficult it is to break the cycle of violence when the abuser is a figure of unquestionable influence. Rihanna, in turn, revealed the intimidating side of those who use their position to manipulate the ambitions of others, turning dreams into instruments of control. Cuba Gooding Jr. brought to light a side of the industry that few dare to talk about. Power games masked by glamour, where moral and ethical choices are constantly tested. Justin showed how manipulation was P. Diddy's greatest weapon. These voices represent not only a call for justice, but also a cry for change. How long will we allow the abuse of power to be normalized in any environment, be it artistic or corporate? How long will we turn a blind eye to the victim stories, considering that it's part of the game? Our goal here is not to judge, but to bring these narratives to light so that the conversation can continue. because only with dialogue and awareness can we create a healthier and safer environment for everyone involved in this industry and any other. If you've made it this far, it's because you also believe that stories like these need to be heard. So be sure to like this video, share it with whoever you think needs to hear this, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Your every interaction helps spread these messages and gives strength to voices that often feel muffled. And for those who identify with these stories or have experienced something similar, you are not alone. There is always someone willing to listen and support, and your silence does not have to be eternal. See you in the next video, where we will continue investigating, exploring, and exposing stories that the world needs to know. Until next time.